two, one, and let's go.
Welcome to Free State Central News. My name is Tim Masemola. This morning we are going to be talking to the Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress Youth League. Mayibuye, welcome to Free State Central News.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, my leader. And thank you for opportunity also to be on your Central News.
This morning we're going to be discussing a few issues with you, but let us start first with the one of the 79 years of ANC Youth League since it was since its inception. As the ANC Youth League, what are you saying with the current situation? We see young people are unemployed, and what are you celebrating as the ANC Youth League?
No, thank you very much. I think this is one of the historical event and big event of the ANC Youth League that we proud ourselves as members of the ANC Youth League, including former leaders of the ANC Youth League, who are currently holding serious position in the ANC, the likes of the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Mbalula, who was a former president and the SG of the ANC Youth League, and many other leaders. Ronald Lamula was a minister, and Jabulon Nzuza was a former SG, was a deputy minister. But then what we pride ourselves with is that the ANC Youth League was formed for a particular purpose when it was formed and established by the likes of Nelson Mandela and the grouping in one of the Walter Sisulu House in Gauteng. It was formed to shape the politics of the ANC and to move the ANC for boardroom, and which they achieved that mission. And later on, also the Youth League embarked on ensuring that the MKVA, if comrades they don't know, the MKVA for it to be formed, it was formed by the very same leaders and founders of the ANC Youth League. The likes of Nelson Mandela was a commander of the MKVA. Then we went further to have another generation of the ANC Youth League that led the Youth League, which embarked on various programs. And later on, Yabo Malusi Gigaba, the then former Minister of Finance, which concentrated on embarking on a program of ensuring that we put our young people on, we embark on a campaign of make education fashionable. Because if you check the time of Malusi Gigaba, when he was a president, he was focusing on addressing students on varsities, which they achieved properly. We then went further to have a youth league that embarked on a program that we called what we call this thing, radical social economic transformation, which the other political leader is claiming that part now.
Yes, before you go further, you just spoke about the generation of Melusi Kigaba, whereby they were making education fashionable. Let us come to this. When we go to tertiary institutions, the ANC Youth League, check the number of the people who are now electing SASCO as the leadership. Then the membership seems to be declining. Do you have a plan maybe on how are you going to counter that?
No, actually, we're having a plan. Hence, I wanted to take you by step to each generation to say the next epoch of the generation, what program they advanced, and the next one, which program they advanced. I think if you can check, by the time Yabo President Malusi Gigaba, the ANC Youth League was contesting space in varsities. If you remember properly, Youth League had branches in campuses of the ANC, or Youth League had branches in campuses in our campuses in varsities. But then we also embarked to ensure that we can contest space with SASCO. SASCO is part of our PYA, or enlightened with one understanding of which political party we support and believe can advance our interests as young people, which is the ANC. Then the Youth League felt that we need to stop contesting and having branches on varsity, but embark on our program to support SASCO. The Youth League that was led by Bo Ozilamula and many other leaders, including Bo Andile Lungisa. Then we had a backfall in the Youth League, will not lie to say, immediately after the disbandment of the ANC Youth League in 2015, when we went to the conference, We then had a youth league that we did not elect that youth league leadership. Actually, we say we'll elect that youth league leadership, but there was a lot of interference from ANC leaders that was led by the former president, Colin Mayibuye, which did not advance any interest, according to us, of young people. I cannot even tell you what is the program that they embark on, that youth league. But then afterward, the youth league was disbanded for 8 years. We're having a new leadership of the ANC Youth League with a clear program what we want to advance. That is led by President Colin Malachi and Deputy President Pumzile and Secretary General Ngundle and Deputy Secretary General Tsakani and Second DSG Olga and TG Zwelo. They are very clear that we are embarking on a program of social change and economic freedom now in our lifetime. So that is a program that Youth League is advancing, and we're advancing across the country. Because if you check the current youth, you are correct to say the Youth League is the majority of young people, they are unemployed. It's because we are missing where we should get our 25%, not only in government, but then also in private sectors. The Women's League, they have championed the issue of 50-50%. Be employment in strategic position in government, in administration, we need to have women. They have championed that struggle. Be in position of leadership within the AVC, they have championed that struggle. But then let's go and check the reflection of 25% of the youth league, which I still believe even it's a small number. But then you will find that there are there's not even 10% of young people that we can say they are ministers in this country. There's not even 10% of young people that we can say they are DGs in this country. There's not even 10% of young people that we can say they are HODs in country. Because if we can champion that struggle, I'm telling you, their interest there, including how they advertise, dispose of employment, including having young CEOs in mines and ESCOM, they will ensure that they speak
just spoke about
positions that will ensure that young people are employed.
You just spoke about young people being into occupying professional space. But just yesterday, we had more than 40 doctors coming from the Free State, being part of the march, whereby they were saying, we are unemployed, we can't even given an opportunity to write these exams that they write after getting their qualifications. As the Youth League, what are you saying to them?
Actually, we got a call from one of those students. There are students that were studying overseas. We remember that we have many students that were transported, that were actually taken outside the country. Your likes of Cuba, your China, to go there and study further, especially on medicine. Because if you can check in terms of profession that we're having, we are looking to have young people and also who are Black people in that field. But then we found that actually there were some sort of lot of schemes that were happening there. But then we cannot say these young people were involved. We need to address the matter because there's a challenge now, which we have convened those young people to say, as the current ANC in the Free State province, I've convened them. Next week, we're going to meet them with the PwC and all officials to look at all matters addressed, and we'll fight with them to ensure that they get their approval to write those exams. Because when you're a doctor, there's a certain certificate that they need to get an approval so that they're able to practice. So they are just left with that thing. So we're going to engage the premier, we're going to engage the ANC leadership in the province. I think the provincial chair, when he addressed the ANC manifesto, he will also touch on that thing. Even the PEC, as in when it concludes with their business today, they will touch on that thing because it will be part of the organizational report. So we'll dwell too much on that matter with full details and presentation that will invite one of the students to form part of the PEC meeting that will continue today to further give us more information and detailed information about this matter. Because we believe we cannot have young people that they're going overseas to study for 7 years. Then they are left like that. No, it's wrong. We need doctors. Our hospitality and clinics, they don't have doctors. So we must ensure that those young people, they get that certificate and they practice and they're able to help our people in public hospital, even in private hospital, even in our clinics.
In terms of unity, the ANC Youth League, how far are you in terms of making sure you unite young people to rally behind the ANC for the next coming elections?
No, we're not that far in terms of ensuring that we build unity, especially in our province, including the country. I think the President, Colin Malachi, and the SG, immediately after our first NEC meeting, they have made it clear that they will embark on a program, because you must remember we're coming from a national conference, which was contested, but then when we arrived in plenary, others did not meet threshold. Therefore, we can say it was a conference that was not contested, but then it was contested in terms of you in public and in other social media platforms. But then when you arrive in plenary, where there are only delegates who are allowed, then the conference was not contested. So they have developed a program to go around and unite those that were differing with the current leadership, to say they must lead with those that they were supporting this leadership. Because immediately after conference, comrade, they have different perspective to say those that they were not supporting the current sitting leadership, they must be removed. So that those who were supporting the current leadership, they must be given an opportunity to lead. And that's not how organizations operate. An organization, there's democracy in the process, and we're able to engage each other and their conferences. And if any structure or other people need to be removed, they will remove by Congress or by PGC or by NGC. You cannot just want to remove other people. But then we're embarking on that program.
Yes, you need to have programs, with more especially in the Free State. Do you have programs in terms of saying, this is what we are going to do? Give us the how part. How are you going to do that?
Actually, I wrote something here which is also going to be discussed. There's a program that we have adopted in our PC meeting that will conclude also today, whereby also there's an organizational report that will present a program that will be driven by the PSO and then organizing. Because PSO and organizing, they deal with general to mobilize and ensure that they organize young people. So there's a program we are going to visit all regions across the province, where we speak about the importance of unity of young people in the province, not just ANC members. I was in one call with the former leader of SASCO, who's a coordinator of youth in the office of the Premier BD. We're speaking about, say, the division of young people, especially on this moment. They will give an opportunity to all people to say the Youth League is disorganized. Therefore, we cannot give the Youth League opportunity. But if we're able to bury our differences and ensure that we rally behind the program that you say, we want our 25%, we want our representative in government, we want our representative everywhere. Therefore, the ANC leaders will then take us serious. But if we are fighting, they will not take us serious. They will use that opportunity to say, the reason we're not giving young people opportunities is because you are fighting. It's because you are divided about useless things in terms of ensuring that you champion interests of young people, ensure that young people are removed on streets and corners where they are sitting, and they find hope in the Youth League that will address their issues of unemployment, their issues of to ensure that they get better services and better education. And also, we also include this issue of ensuring that young people who are working, especially on retail store, who are earning less than 3.5, they're able to be included on those people that they will get houses, as in when houses are built by government. We don't wait for houses to be built for old people alone. Actually, Tina, we want sites. We don't even want houses. What we demand from our government as young people, want young people to be given sites. We can build our own houses. Young people have been proven where they have been expropriating land that they can build their own houses. The only thing that they require is land. And also an issue of business, they need land to ensure that they promote their farming. Because if you check also on farming, there's no many young people that we have in our province that are doing farming. We are ignored on that side, and we have many young people that have interest on farming in our province. So those are things that we need to deliberate on in the organizational report today, so that it will unite us as a program of action that will go out and advance for young people, not for ourselves alone.
Speaking about young people in business, what are you saying to make sure that they get exposure? Because young people are saying, yes, there are those in business, but you will find that the requirements are too high. And many of them, they can't even qualify.
You must remember that there was a program, especially on the Department of Roads and Safety, which is led by MEC McQueen, even in nationally on that Department of Roads, and also even on the ESCOM. And there's this SEO that I forget their name, which they also have what we call in CDP. CDP, it was a program where they've introduced to ensure that those companies with grade 1, they include them and give them contract. As in when they get jobs, they get to be elevated in terms of grading. So that as in when they need to bid for bigger contract, then when they move out from the CDP, others their own grade 2, others their own grade 3, others their own grade 4. But then that program was cancelled. But I can confirm today that that program is back in the Free State, and we're engaging the MEC of Roads and Safety, which is Comrade Mema Queen, the TG of the ANC Youth League, to ensure that young people find expression. And what we're happy about the MEC of Roads and Safety, she made it clear that her priorities and interests are young people and women.
But still, as the ANC Youth League, are you happy with the current situation?
Of young people not finding expression? No, we're not happy at all. We can't be happy. There's even a lot of things that we're fighting whereby young people can't be subjected to subcontracting. Actually, we're even saying, Tina, bigger tenders actually, how they must be procured or advertised in the Free State. They must be advertised on a form of to say, you must get a tender with a JV. You must JV with a company that is grade 1. It must be some of the other requirement or company that is grade 2. By doing so, you are opening a space for young people to be part of the bigger scheme of the business in terms of business. Because those grade 1 and grade 2 are companies that are run by ANC Youth League members or young people in general.
Okay, PS, go and check the human settlement. They have advertised to build 2,000 houses, but go and check the requirements there. It's contrary to what you are saying now. What are you saying about it? Have you seen it?
No, we have not seen it, but then I think we'll engage, since you have led us aware of that thing, we'll engage the MEC of Human Settlement, which is a deputy chairperson of the ANC. Hence, what we are trying to do in our space, we are trying to consolidate every information that we get on the street. Remember, why ANC Youth League that is dealing with many sectors. Our interests are not just in business, are in sports, are in art and culture, are in education. So every information that we get, we try to verify the information, then we follow up on the information that we got. So we'll also add up the information that you have just made me aware of. Then we'll engage the MEC to check if there's such. Then we'll take a position on that matter as the current ANC Youth League.
We'll get back to that matter. PS, you've been served with a letter of appearing before the disciplinary committee of the African National Congress. Your reaction to that?
No, thank you very much on that one. No, you remember the ANC Youth League is a preparatory school of the ANC.
Yes.
And I must not lie, I think the president, actually the SG of the ANC, in one of the meetings before the national conference of the Youth League, the last meeting that we attended, actually, you must give me time. I want to explain this thing and repeat the exact word of the SG. In the last meeting we attended of the NYTT, that was later convened by Fazim after the suspension of Comrade Kola and coordinated by Comrade Sontom Tau. The SG addressed our last meeting of the NYTT, which was convened in Little House. It started around 9 o'clock in the midnight. The SG said, we are rebuilding the ANC Youth League because this appointment of the ANC Youth League, they came in favors of young people. They found themselves leading the ANC Youth League through appointments. That if I know Comrade, maybe the provincial chair of Free State, Comrade will speak about my name to be on the NYTT. If you know Comrade, national chairperson of the ANC, will speak about you to be on the list. So you were dealing with Comrade that everyone in the ANC was just speaking his name that you know or any name. So you found a lot of young people who don't even understand the tradition of the ANC Youth League and why the ANC Youth League exists. Those were the words of the SG to say, we are dealing with this team. Actually, he was even saying, we are removing relative of ministers and NEC members in this NYTT, hence we must go to Congress. So even on our province, our appointment of RCPC and PCPC came with a lot of things. Then we started to know each other. Others, they were from different, we did not know them in the struggle of the ANC Youth League. So when you're preparatory school, so in the Youth League, actually, I will not respond on a matter, but then I want to explain the processes to say, how do you subject someone to a DC? There is no subcommittee.
But let me ask you this. Are you saying there are those in the ANC Youth League, the current leadership, who understand the Youth League behind?
No, my brother. Hence, I'm saying even myself, even anyone in the PC, starting from the provincial chair, including myself, there is no one will be perfect in terms of understanding the constitution and how the Youth League is run. We're learning every day there. There is no master. Even in the ANC, there is no master. All of us were learning every day. The provincial secretary was even saying that the unity of the ANC Youth League in the province, it's a unity that must be able to even direct the ANC leadership in the province to say, this is what must happen. This is how you must unite. He said that thing will only be done by the ANC Youth League. That is united. So in responding to you, I was trying to say processes. To say there are processes and procedures for one to be subjected in a DC, in any structure. And there are subcommittees in a structure. So in our manner, in our issue, that there's a DC committee and there's a PC. And remember that what comrade the misunderstanding is that in NEC, the highest decision-making body structure, it's an NEC between Congress. It means whether any subcommittee can suspend or remove anyone. Once the NEC says reverse that thing, it's a reverse. It's an higher decision-making body.
PS, due to time, what, in a nutshell, what you are saying, processes were not properly followed here.
Yes, processes were not properly followed. And I think we have engaged the PEC after they conclude their business. They will respond further on this thing, because also what is wrong, young people are outside there with the wrong perspective that the provincial secretary in the Free State is suspended, including the country. I've been receiving a lot of calls from my colleagues who are leading other provinces that appears what is happening, including our provincial chair. So we've been trying to clarify this matter, but at least it was clarified in the meeting yesterday. But also what we want to say on the matter is that we're having a political education that we're going to convene with an extended PEC as part of the org report that will be presented, so that everyone is educated about his powers. I can be a provincial secretary, but I'm not an organization. I cannot wake up tomorrow as an individual and suspend someone. The structure is the one that is having the power, the PwC officials and the collective PEC. The subcommittee report to the PEC, and the PEC will then give the subcommittee way forward. So that's how structures are operating.
Okay, due to time, let us talk about the 2019 Manifesto review. Where to?
We're having, in the Free State, we're having our manifesto review. Remember last week, we're in Dobsonville having an ANC manifesto review that was addressed by the president of the ANC, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, our face of the ANC, including in 24-24, he will be the face of the ANC in terms of our campaign, where he unpacked a lot of things that we have achieved. What we have achieved as the ANC government. Remember that even in Free State, as the ANC government, we're always getting report that we're not doing anything. You have RDP houses, you have grants, you have feeding scheme in schools, you have public hospital that people they are not paying, you have free medicine that our people are getting on clinics. There's employment that we are creating, which we cannot say is enough, but there's employment that we are creating. And also, there's what now we're calling, which the president also announced, that our people are getting 350. We cannot celebrate 350. Now we're even calling for a minimum wage. But then now somewhere I differ with that thing, because I believe that money can be used to create some sort of an employment, because we must focus on industrializing our country to make sure our country is we produce everything, and also ensure that it comes out in our country not as a raw material, as something that is the final product, so that we create a lot of employment. So we'll be embarking in Free State to speak about the good work that the government of the ANC has did in the Free State province. There are a lot of RDP houses that they were built. There are a lot of houses that are built currently that have been fixed. I can name many in Paris, in Twele, in Veldilskroon, the N1 drive, when you drive now in the N1, whether from Gauteng to Bloemfontein, it's attended, it's fixed by our government. So there's a lot that we're doing, but then it's not out there. There's a perception that the media is always speaking about the ANC, that we're not doing anything.
People are not happy generally with service delivery within our municipalities. And I can hear you're mentioning about the hospitals. You go there, everything is for free. We've got 350s and all those things. But check the level of service delivery within our municipalities. It has collapsed. As the ANC Youth League, what are you saying about it before we close?
No, I think you remember when mayors were appointed before in the ANC. They were appointed in a very different manner. The PEC will wake up and say, maybe as a mayor in Machabe. But then recently, before 2021 election, the ANC introduced a new criteria, which also was misinterpreted by some of our members. Hence, I'm saying it's not only in the Youth League that we're learning, even in the ANC. The criteria to appoint mayors were very clear, that we need people with masters or with higher education after matric. And also there was a session to say, oh, remember, we are coming from post-apartheid. There were those who were disadvantaged to go to school. So it means those who were disadvantaged to go to school, but they have experience that they've got from the ANC, including our government, before we introduce this law. Except us young people, to now we cannot be included. Qualification, actually, they are directed to us, not to those who were there, who fought for the struggle of this country. Therefore, they recruited the best currently. But then they are dealing with a lot of things that were done in our local municipality, if I can continue to address.
How are you making sure that the ANC deployees in municipalities are performing? Because currently, go to different municipalities, you will see protests day in and day out.
Yeah, I wanted to address that matter. I wanted to start with the process of recruitment, how it was done.
Because you can still be qualified, but if you are not performing, you're not performing. You can be qualified and have doctorate. But if your municipality is not performing, it's not performing.
Yes, you know what they are dealing with. I wanted to tell you what current mayors they are dealing with, which we must be honest to our people. There was what we call the ghost invoice in our local government, I think in every municipalities, where people will supply a normal paper and cost it 10,000. And that thing left our municipality bankrupt. I'm telling you that a lot of the municipalities in the country, not only in the Free State, they're bankrupt because of the quantity of work, and especially on the outsourcing program that was done in the municipalities. Municipalities were turned like lottery in our country, where everyone, you will be surprised that you will have a friend that you know this year. Then in December, your friend will be a millionaire. Then you ask yourself, how? Then he's just doing business in the municipality. So they are dealing with that matter now to get booked correctly, to fix how procurement they must be done. But I can tell you that there are municipalities that are trying. There's one municipality that I know that is trying hard. And they will say, I speak for my boss, maybe. The executive mayor of Machabe. The men arrive in the municipality with 7 trucks of tipper lorries. 7 trucks of compactor tractors that are collecting waste. I can tell you that we have 34 trucks today. We have 26 tipper trucks today. We do not have TLBs, we have TLBs.
PS, due to time, I can tell that you have a lot to tell us, but let us go back a bit and say, give us in 2 minutes, the celebration of the 79 years of the ANC Youth League. When is it going to be? How is it going to be celebrated? And then finish up by saying and telling about the manifesto. Review.
Okay, now we're having our celebration of the ANC Youth League in Mpumalanga. That will be addressed by the president of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Colin Malachi, where all NEC members will be present. I think including all ex-officios and PC members of other provinces. It will be on Sunday, on the 10th of September, where we'll be celebrating this thing. I think we'll leave also in the province immediately after our ANC Provincial Manifesto. So all of us will be in Mpumalanga on Sunday, but on Saturday, we are in the Free State, in Velkom, in Thabo, Zukabalo Stadium. It's 100% ready. We'll also be it will be addressed, I think, by the deputy chair of the ANC in the province, Comrade Toto Makume, because the provincial chair of the ANC is outside of the country. He's in China and backing on a program of ensuring that we get investors and we get people that want to invest in our province so that we create employment. So he went there with the Deputy Provincial Secretary, Comrade Dibolelo Mahlatsi, and other PC members of the, actually ESCO members in our provincial government. So they are there. So Comrade Toto Makube, I think he will open that manifesto. We know Comrade Toto is very active and a young and energetic deputy chair of the ANC in the province. That actually is our panya of 2 weeks. When he acted, It was all over. And I see young people were happy and hyper about the move that he was doing and be everywhere trying to address issues. So, Zukabaloy, thank you very much.
P.S., thank you for your time. I think next week we're going to call you again to talk about the review of the manifesto.
Okay, no, definitely call me. And actually, I think we must speak about municipality to municipality so that I'm able to go in detail for you to say what is the challenge of this municipality. Because I think so far, since I've been in office for 6 months, I've went too deep to understand different challenges of any other municipality in our provinces. So that as when we embark on a program to try to assist, we are speaking from an informed perspective as the ANC Youth League. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you, my brother.